Un simple encuentro puede cambiarlo todo. En un instante te quedas sin aliento. Y a partir de ahí, el tiempo no importa. ¿Qué te mueve? ¿Qué te impulsa? Eso es lo importante. Porque cuando algo te moviliza, te pasan millones de cosas. Nuevo Honda HR-V. No te mueve, te moviliza.
En el Salón Internacional del Automóvil de Buenos Aires nos cruzamos con un diseñador internacional. Se trata de James Brian Hope, quien es el director de diseño de la marca china Chery, una marca que hace ya varios años que está en el mercado argentino. Y a él le preguntamos si en China hay un diseño propio chino o si hay copias. Vemos la entrevista. Estamos en el Salón del Automóvil, en el stand de Chery, que es la segunda vez que participa en este Salón Internacional de Buenos Aires, y nos acompaña Brian Hope, quien es el director de diseño internacional de la marca china, y gentilmente Diego Piccicini, directivo de Chery Argentina, nos va a acompañar en la traducción. Diego, muchas gracias por el favor. Y la primera pregunta para el señor Hope es, ¿cuáles son las actuales bases de diseño de Chery?
He would like to know which are the actual bases or the basics of our Chery design.
With Chery, we set up on a foundation, what we call the building blocks for excellence in design. And it's really focusing on proportion, the design language, the brand attributes, and the perceived quality.
¿De qué manera estos cuatro aspectos están presentes en los modelos que acaban de presentar en el salón, que es el Tigo 5 y el Arizo 7?
In what way these four aspects are present in the new models that we presented here in the salon, the Tigo 5 and Arizo 7?
Well, with this new philosophy, design now works much more closely with the product development process, and so you can see we spent a lot of time on the proportions, working with the engineering. And what's important is we maintain the functionality, but also give it a modern proportion. And this model also is the first model to hint at our new hydrodynamic surfacing design language philosophy. And the brand attributes, most evident in the front grille with the brand bar and the connection to the lamps you see in both the Tigo 5 and the Arizo 7. And of course the perceived quality. We spend a lot of time with engineering to really get the perceived quality to the international level.
¿Existe una escuela china de diseño?
Does it exist like a sort of Chinese school of design?
With Chery, we also explore what's called the C factor. And it's really looking at what would make what would really evolve into what's Chinese design culturally. So as we develop unique designs for Chery, we ask our Chinese designers to really draw on Chinese cultural elements and try to put them in to give it a bit of a Chinese flavor. If you look at companies like America, Germany, Japan, this evolved very slowly over time. I don't think you can just do this right away. It needs to follow step by step.
Así como existen los diseños de los autos americanos, por ejemplo los muscle car, o por ejemplo el diseño italiano que tiene mucha característica y mucha personalidad, él habló de cuatro elementos, digamos, que buscan rescatar la cultura china. Esa cultura se imprime en el diseño. Ese diseño, ¿cómo llegaría a Occidente? ¿Occidente aceptaría ese diseño?
How would you think that a Chinese design could be accepted overseas rather than in China?
If you look at American cars, culturally, you had in the 60s the Cadillacs with the big fins, and they were really part of the rocket age. And the Italians were, of course, always very emotional design, very expressive. And the Germans were always probably more focused on a very Teutonic quality. In China, it needs to evolve. I use the example of when a baby's born, it's basic function, then it learns to walk, then it starts to develop a personality, and it grows up into a mature adult.
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
Well, no, I think we're learning to walk. But
Hemos aprendido a caminar.
but it's interesting if you look at the auto shows in China, and I've been going since 2012 when I started. The progress is very fast and very impressive.
Desde hace bastante tiempo a la industria china en general se la identificó, se le indicó como que copiaba muchos productos europeos y americanos. Incluso ha habido algunos juicios, digamos, famosos con algunos modelos emblemáticos. ¿Cómo cree él que está esta situación en la actualidad?
Well, it is well known that in the past years, Chinese auto industry have been pointed out as copying other cars from other companies, and there also have been trials regarding that. How do you think that this is working out right now? Has it changed? It remains the same?
Well, I can only speak for Chery. We're very understanding of this reputation, and we're really focused at breaking away from it. But it's quite difficult because when you design a car and you have this reputation, people automatically assume, oh, it looks like this or it looks like that. But we're quite confident with our foundation vehicles, the Tiggo 5 and the Arizo 7, unveiled here at the auto show, that we're on a good way to break free and really show the world that we're developing our own way.
Mi sensación, ya para ir terminando, mi sensación es que en la actualidad, desde hace varios años, los diseños de los autos se parecen mucho entre sí, son muy iguales, en general, en la industria. A diferencia de los años 50, 60, donde los autos tenían personalidad. ¿Él hacia dónde cree que va a evolucionar los diseños generales de los vehículos?
Yeah. His opinion is that actually, generally speaking about the general automotive industry, the different designs are very close or very similar. It's different from the 50s or 60s where the personalities were much more perceived. According to your opinion, how do you think that this worldwide design trend will go to? I mean, do you think something about how it's gonna be developed?
Well, it's difficult for designers because designers really hate to hear when someone says all cars look the same. We see two distinct trends of design. One's more of a functional direction and one's more of an emotional direction. And so the more functional is maybe has elements that are wind tunnel inspired, where they cut off the front and the rear of the car. You see this with many vehicles, where the emotional is a bit more dynamic, sculptural, and emotional.
La idea entonces, para él, digamos, los vehículos tienen que ser prácticos y funcionales.
Exactamente.
Básicamente.
Lo que él dice es que Chery está tendiendo más a la primera tendencia, o sea, más un aspecto más funcional y como más
racional.
Exactamente.
Okay. Bueno, ok. Thank you.
Okay,
very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias,
No,
Diego,
gracias a ustedes por compartirnos acá.
por oficiar de traductor.
Citroën, créative technologie.